Well, welcome everybody if you're tuning in today or if you're watching us at a later time. In our office, we are making those final preparations to head to Houston next week. And we know that you guys as adult leaders are also making those final preparations. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to join Juliana and I to talk over these last minute details. My name is Meredith Smith. I'm here with DCE Juliana Schultz, and today we're going to cover some of those last minute details we want to make sure you know before coming to the gathering. We have a lot to cover, so we'll go through our agenda items, and we'll answer your questions at the end. We'll try and get them through. We might even stay on a little bit longer just to make sure that we make sure you are feeling confident about leading your youth to Houston in just a few short days. So let's dive into our first big topic that has been a big topic for the last week since we talked to you guys last week, and that is Minute Maid Park. Firstly, tickets are coming. I've seen a number of your posts saying you've got them or you got the email, so that's great. So if you've received your Saturday night tickets, fantastic. That we are so glad that's working out. If you haven't received the email that's coming from ticketservice@astros.com, don't worry, we are working on it. We mentioned last week it is a slow rolling process to get thousands and thousands of you seated in a stadium. So please be patient with us. We posted yesterday some instructions. If you did receive your email that you have tickets in the MLB Ballpark app, you are now able to download that. There is a generic password that we have kind of used. It's unique with your congregation ID. So make sure you go back on the Facebook group and look at that and make sure you read those directions. If you're still having trouble with the instructions or your account, know that we are going to be working on troubleshooting all of those next week. So we're trying to focus on getting everybody at least their first night seats. If you've got an email but you can't log in, that doesn't mean you don't have tickets. You have tickets. There's just a little bit, maybe it's a human error. We're all entering these in with our own hands. And sometimes it's just a lot of work. We maybe mistype an L for an I or something like that. So we're going to be troubleshooting those next week. So no need to panic. We're aware of some of the problems and we have kind of a running list of those things. So we're working on it. We have a whole team of people working on this for you guys to make sure it's as seamless of a process as possible.
Once that first round of tickets is in, because that also includes account setup and that kind of thing. And once we start troubleshooting, you should be getting tickets pretty rapidly after that. So once we kind of get this ball rolling, we're going to be able to do that. Somebody did ask, is special needs going to be taken into account? Absolutely. We do have a list of those people and where we're going to need to put them specifically. So don't worry about that. And that's part of why it's taking a little bit longer, right? Because it's not just as easy as like just throw everybody into a seat. Like there's a lot of different little things that we have to account for, and then do remember that we will have people on the ground to register, particularly on Saturday outside of orientation. We're going to have a group of people that are just there to help troubleshoot your app. So we are preparing for all different kinds of ways that we can support you as you get these tickets. So as we kind of get this started and we know we're really close to the event, right? I'd be nervous too as things start to come out. Believe us, we're gonna try and support you and make sure that everybody has those tickets as they're getting ready to go in there.
It's just a reminder, just to reiterate, the email will go to your primary adult leader email that you used for registration. So it will not go to your personal account. It will go to whatever you use for gathering registration. So make sure you're checking your promotions, your spam, junk. We've heard it go to a number of different inboxes for people. And that initial email, again, is going to come from ticketservice@astros.com. So if you see something from the Astros and you're like, I'm not an Astros fan, don't delete it. It's important stuff.
Right. And certainly, we know some people are going to already have accounts that are using that email. We're accounting for that too. We're going to have specific instructions for you guys as soon as we can get that sorted on that back end. So I know we'll probably get a few more. I'm seeing a few more, but I think people are answering them. I'm really excited about the ticketing thing. I think it's going to be really helpful in terms of getting everybody in and everybody out. And there are really no bad seats in the stadium. It's really close up to the stage in comparison to other places we've been. And so I think it'll be really fantastic for our groups to be able to not have to wait outside as long right? In the Houston heat, and those kinds of things. So it also is going to allow you to have a little extra time for food, which I'm always top of my list, things that I have to prep for, making sure that we've fed everyone. I like to tell the story of like, why are youth leaders so anxious about food, about the time that I miscalculated the timing at a gathering and ended up feeding dinner to my kids at 2 a.m. They will not let me forget that. But you won't have that problem because you all have prepped and planned for food. And a couple of things that we want to remind you about. If you signed up for that early entry into the stadium, you got it, right? So if you signed up for that, you're going to get it. No confirmation was sent out. Those concessions are going to open at 6:30 and go 6:30 to 7:30 just for those with those early entry wristbands. And you're going to get those at registration. For those who did not sign up if you signed up for other pre-register food, so if you signed up for Hall A, you signed up for Hall E pre-registration, we're going to get those. I'm looking and making sure I'm like not jumping ahead in the script. I might be. And the scenes. So if you did sign up for those things, you're going to have, again, your wristbands that you're going to get at registration. You're going to want to bring your confirmation email for those pre-ordered meals in Hall E. But if you didn't get any of those pre-ordered things done, that's okay. There's still going to be a ton of food for you, right? So we don't want you to panic, right? We don't want you to panic if you didn't pre-order food. That's okay. We're going to have lots of places where you're going to be able to get that. The first one is going to be food trucks that are going to be outside. They're going to be available to you from lunch through dinner. And there's a listing of those in the pre-event guide. So you can go and check that out and see kind of what kind of food is available at the food trucks. There's going to be essentially like concession stands, food spots in Hall E, also from lunch all the way through dinner. That's not pre-ordered, it's just walk up and order. So that'll be a great spot for you to be able to eat. Both of those, you're going to be able to have seating inside the building where it's air conditioned in order to eat that together as a group, which is fantastic. And then Hall A is ticketed in the evenings for dinner, but it's food, concession food, walk up and eat food during the day for lunch. So if you didn't pre-order, that's okay. There's still plenty of options for you. And if you did pre-order, make sure that you're stopping by the food registration on your way in to get all of your other things like backpacks and going to orientation, so that you get your wristbands and stuff to get into those food places.
Yeah, and as we talk about Minute Maid Park and more of that food, I know Juliana and I were just talking the other day about how like I'm looking forward to eating like hot dogs before mass events for whatever reason. I love baseball and I love Minute Maid Park, so I'm excited for dinner. If you didn't sign up for early entry at Minute Maid Park, you can still enjoy the concession stands before mass events start. So those concession stands will stay open until 8:30, which is when mass events begin. So if you want to still make plans to have dinner in the stadium, you can still do that and come between 7:30 and 8:30 to get your dinner. Just a reminder, those concession stands in the stadium will not be open on Saturday or Wednesday. So you're going to have other dinner plans for those nights. Maybe check out the food trucks or some local restaurants downtown. So just keep that in mind as you are planning your meals at this point in the gathering. Also, as a reminder, you can bring one factory sealed water bottle into Minute Maid Park. This is not a Gatorade, not a soda, not juice, only water. But you're also allowed to bring in your empty reusable water bottles. Now, we've been told that you can bring metal or plastic, but the metal is going to slow you down in security. Make sure those are empty so you don't get to the door and have to pour out your water. So we're encouraging you guys to bring the plastic water bottles. It'll make your entry in just a little bit more smoother. And they have either water fountains or filling stations throughout the concourses in Minute Maid Park. So make those plans. We don't want you to get dehydrated. We want to make sure that you guys have enough water. So those are your options for bringing water into Minute Maid Park. Another thing about Minute Maid Park that we want to clarify is luggage on Wednesday for those groups that are needing to leave directly from Minute Maid Park. You have a really close flight and you need to leave. On Wednesday, the groups that are leaving from Minute Maid Park to the airport, you have an option to store your luggage in an area inside of Minute Maid Park. Groups will not allow to bring their luggage into the seating areas of Minute Maid Park. So you'll have to drop your luggage off in the designated area before you get to go to your seats. So the groups are either going to get dropped off on Crawford Street, and that luggage location is going to be inside of Union Station. And for those that are going to be dropped off on Hamilton Street, when you're looking at a map, there's a location right inside of the right field entrance. There's going to be a lot of signage and a lot of volunteers around. So if you are walking around with luggage, somebody is likely to point you in the right direction and make sure you get your luggage squared away. But again, you cannot bring that into the seating area of Minute Maid Park. It's really important to understand that we don't have capacity in these areas to have everybody's luggage. So if you have the option to store your luggage in your private vehicle or your bus, or if you have the option or the time to go back to your hotel, please, please, please make that a priority for your group. You can be packed and ready to go. You can talk with your hotel to see if they can keep your luggage before you check out. But please, if you don't have to bring it to Minute Maid Park, do not bring it to Minute Maid Park. But if you are leaving immediately after worship and going straight to the airport, we do have some luggage areas for you guys to keep your luggage during the worship service.
And that luggage is going to be secured. We're going to have people there, right? We're going to make sure that nobody's walking away with 1,000 people's luggage. That would be a real bummer. But we also want to remind you that if you haven't already, to go back and look at the pre-event guide that's up on the website. There's so much information in here. Meredith did an amazing job laying it all out, helping you guys figure out all the things that you're going to need to know before the event. In there is going to be a list of things that you can and can't bring into Minute Maid Park. So if you have that list and you just reference that, making sure that you're not planning on bringing in something that's going to get you stopped by security on your way in, which is always kind of a frustrating thing, right? We want to make sure that we have effectively getting you in and out of that. And so do go ahead and make sure that you've looked through that pre-event guide for a lot of things, but in particular for what you're going to need to bring in and out of Minute Maid. Right, while you're on the website, you will notice that we have updated the COVID frequently asked questions with some additional things that we want you to take to mind as you're thinking about how we're going to make sure that we have a healthy and safe experience for all of our participants, youth and adults. So please go ahead, look through all of those things. We've got as much information there as we can to be able to tell you kind of where we're standing, what we're how we're handling COVID, what precautions we have, down to like we really do want this to be a safe and healthy event for all of our young people, and that we make sure that we're taking the right precautions for that. We also talked about those precautions and the things that we're going to suggest that you do as a group on the podcast that was released on Tuesday. So if you haven't yet, you can go. That's a what if podcast. We talked about all the different things that might go wrong, which is a fun topic for a podcast. But what it allowed us to do is to be able to talk about lots of the supports that are going to be available for you, and including kind of what we hopefully do if there is somebody who gets sick at the event, and how we want you to handle that in order to eliminate the spread and really kind of help keep that contained as much as we possibly can. We do want to remind you that we do want you to bring a mask for every participant, just if you're traveling, just in case something changes where we need that, they need to be able to wear that. And certainly we want you to consider packing COVID tests that you can test on the spot with young people who maybe show symptoms, so that we can ensure that we're trying to take the best precautions that we possibly can. Of course, you're not obligated to wear masks, so certainly you can if that makes you feel more comfortable in the space. We know lots of young people have been masking up in schools and in other places, and and we want you guys to do what's most comfortable for you in terms of keeping yourselves safe. So we also know that GRB and Minute Maid are taking extra safety precautions. We're going to have sanitizing stations throughout the venue, as well as water filling stations. So we're going to have lots of ways in which we're trying to keep people healthy and protect them. We know that you and your parents are asking questions about that. So just go ahead, listen to the podcast, look at the FAQs. If you have any additional questions, you can certainly reach out to us on that.
Juliana, I'm seeing a number of questions talking about parking there's some district events after after the closing workshop. So let's run through some of the parking options that we have come up with for our gathering participants, specifically for Wednesday. This is for Wednesday only, getting out of downtown, getting to the airport. So Julianne, you want to
be clear, this is Wednesday. Just Wednesday. Okay, yes, just Wednesday. All right.
Yeah, Julianne, if you want to go for it, I can pull up a map while you guys talk, so we give you a little bit of a visual.
That was apparently my cue to talk about Wednesday, right? Okay, just before we do this, right, making sure that you know that we do not have other parking arrangements for the other days of the event, right? So we've been putting up a link of places you can look and find parking for the other days of the event, but on Wednesday in particular, we are able to have some additional parking spots down available next to Minute Maid. So the first one is going to be Lot A. Lot A is going to be for those of you who pre-arranged with PRA to have their bus transportation back to an airport. And if you put in that pre-arrangement that you were going to leave from Minute Maid Park, that's where your buses are going to be in Lot A. So you've already arranged to PRA transportation, shuttling. It's a shuttle service that we worked with. If you selected Minute Maid Park, you're going to be leaving from Lot A, right? Lot C is going to be parking for personal coach buses, vans, and other vehicles. So you're out of the gallery, you're going to get your coach all loaded up with all your luggage. You're going to leave your luggage in that vehicle or your van or your minivan or whatever. You're going to load it all up. You're going to leave it in the vehicle. You can park it there in Lot C. And so you'll be able to load everybody up at your hotel and park in Lot C, and then leave directly from Lot C on your way out of the event. And then Lot B is going to be for those, we have Western districts. It's a couple of different districts that are doing a district event together. That is going to be their pickup spot only. So we, again, you can leave your luggage and then you can load up there in Lot B for that particular district event. So Lot A is for those of you who are shuttling directly from Minute Maid to the airport. Lot C is for those who have their own vehicles that you're going to preload, leave your stuff in, and then leave from the event in Lot C. Lot B is going to be for the district events. And please, we do want to remind you the limited spot for luggage. So if you can leave it back in your hotel, go back to your hotel and get it before you head out, or if you're getting picked up at the hotel from the shuttling or whatever. Just all of our hotels, we've asked for them to have space for you to store luggage after you've checked out. So you should be able to store it there. So that is Wednesday, and we hope that makes the leaving out of the event, though sad as it will be and as exhausted as you are, hopefully that's a little extra information so that you know where you're directing kids so that you guys can hit the road. I know people have some long drives at the end of the event. So
absolutely. And I see Nancy is asking about servant events, which is like, is she looking at our script? Because that is our next topic to talk about. We are so thankful for all of you that signed up to serve Houston, either on-site or off-site at the gathering. Your groups are truly going to make an impact on the city of Houston, and I am excited to see how you will impact my hometown. For those who chose to serve on-site communication, that email or that communication was sent out to those primary adult leaders, I believe, on Tuesday. So you should have received communication for on-site already. There's a small group of people that maybe haven't received that communication, but it's a really small group. Off-site servant event communication should be going out next week. We told you by the end of the month, and we still have a couple more days in June left. So keep an eye on those inboxes. Remember to check your junk or spam or promotions folder. If you weren't able to sign up for one of these service projects, there is going to be a couple of walk-up opportunities once you get to the gathering. It's likely that these opportunities are going to be around the 4:30 p.m. slot, but double check when you get to the gathering. There might be some openings for maybe a handful of people, but if you still want to serve, we would love to take as many people as we can in those open slots and those walk-up opportunities. But just know that there will be some walk-up opportunities, but it might not be the time slot that you want. But again, offsite communication should be going out next week, and onsite you should have received your communication earlier this week.
Yeah, it is amazing, and also somehow not really surprising that like there's not possibly enough sermon events that we could set up to get everybody into a sermon event. Um, there's some limitations to that when it comes to this programming, and so I know there were lots of people who wanted to do that, who maybe are going to be looking for those walk-ups, but our sermon event team has worked really hard, and we're excited for all of you that get to do that. And we also are going to have some great walk-up opportunities and some suggestions for what you can do back home, right? If that doesn't end up being a part of the programming that you're going to do. So somebody did ask, shuttling going back from the Galleria Hotel. Sorry, we did all of this parking for like, that's the special parking. There will still be shuttles after the end of the event on Wednesday, after worship and the mass event on Wednesday, to be able to go back to your Galleria hotels. And those shuttles are going to be in the exact same spot that they were the whole rest of the week. The name of the street is eluding at this moment, so I don't know if our transport people are in the chats who can drop that to her. But right, there is still going to be all of that shuttling back to the Galleria hotels, but that's going to be normal because we're going to have that running every morning, and starting on Saturday. Starting Saturday at 1, right? And running through that Wednesday event until everybody's back. So,
and if you need a reminder on your transportation emails and a video were sent out to your primary adult leader. A video was sent out specifically for downtown and specifically for Galleria. They're full of really good information, especially about the shuttling if you're on one of those shuttle properties. So please take the time to go back and watch those videos. Make sure that you've written down all your notes and kind of have a grip on what shuttling is going to look like. They did, transportation team did a really good job of explaining the best that they could before you can actually get your feet on the ground and see the layout of the land. So thank you guys for that. Just make sure that you've gone through and watched those videos.
I'm now realizing that I talked about a lot of food stuff before I was supposed to talk about food stuff. So I'm going to do the food stuff one more time, but I'm going to do it super fast, right? Yeah. So just as a reminder, there's been lots of food options thrown around. If you sign up for Minute Maid Park early, we know you're going to be able to do that. But also Minute Maid Park's going to be open until 8:30 on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If you pre-order dinner in Hall A or early entry to Minute Maid, there's going to be a separate line at registration for you to pick up those wristbands. If you pre-ordered the dinner option in Hall E, make sure that you have that confirmation email with you to bring with you. If you didn't sign up for those food options, like we said, lots of concessions, Hall E concessions, Hall A concessions through lunchtime through about 4 o'clock. You're going to have food truck options outside all day, and you're going to have a list of those options in that pre-event guide. So kind of just really the two things is if you pre-signed up for Hall A or Minute Maid, make sure you stop by that stand to get that information and your wristbands for that. When you come to registration, make sure if you pre-registered for Hall E that you have that confirmation email with you. And then if you didn't, make sure that you enjoy the many, many food trucks and other things that are there. Or certainly you're free to go out and explore the city of Houston, which has delicious food. We've got, it's one of the cool things that we get to do as we plan this event is get to go and explore lots of the restaurants that are in the downtown area and other places. The Galleria has some great restaurants. So certainly we're super excited for us to be able to share that with you guys. Meredith, are you seeing any questions?
I'm seeing people asking about the shuttle video. So that was sent, I think on like June 14th. If you want to go check through your inbox, it came from LCMS Youth Ministry. After this live, I can maybe go back through the chat and add a link for you guys to watch it, but it was sent to your email, and we really want downtown people to watch downtown video and Galleria people to watch Galleria video, so they do not get mixed up. You're not getting the wrong instructions, or we don't want to get information miscommunicated to you guys. So go back and check your email first, and I will take some time maybe this afternoon to kind of reach out to you guys and have those videos sent out one more time.
Wow. We there's a lot of things to keep straight.
Yeah.
Adult leaders, we hear you. There's a lot of things for you to remember because there's a lot of things for us to remember, right? And we've gone through so many resources. I mean, this has got to be what, like our 13th, 14th different live with you guys. So it's been a pleasure. We want to remind you of a few resources that are available. I saw somebody on the Facebook group. We do have a commissioning service. If that's something that your group is going to do before you come, that is there. There's also Bible studies that were written by our Bible study team that are designed to be on your way to the event and then on your way home from the event. So certainly you can go ahead and download those, make those available to your group, and do those whether you're sitting in an airport, whether you're board on a bus, that you have this great opportunity to get them prepped and then to kind of think about what they've learned in the event using those Bible studies. We know that you guys love lists, and so we are working on a list for you guys that will go out probably early next week. Once we know that we can have you do everything on the list, we will put out this list of like a final checklist. So I saw somebody ask earlier, okay, how do I know I have everything ready for registration? We will, right before the event, drop this checklist and then you can print it out. And I'm sure all of you will just go, yep. You know, you've got all the stuff, but just in your mind to remind yourself to make sure you have everything in your binder or everything saved on your phone, right? So we will have that final checklist available for you. And as we do, then you'll be able to kind of make sure you as an adult leader have kind of checked off all the boxes. I know lots of people are running VBSs and sermon events, other things right now. Just want to remind you. And again, part of those things are reminding you that we need to have those medical liability forms, your medical release forms, your financial form off of Bravera, your hotel confirmation numbers, those kinds of things. So a lot of it's stuff that you've already heard that I know you guys are already planning for, that you've already prepped for. So rest assured.
I'm seeing a lot of love for the list. So we're excited to get this out to you guys as soon as we can. We just want to make sure that we've covered everything to make sure you can cover everything.
You know, when the list has things that are like just about to come out, right? This is where we're like, okay, but do we put it out, right? So we want to make sure that everything goes out and then you can look at the list and you're going to know that you've got all those things. And a lot of times it's just a comfort to know that you've got all the different pieces in a row. Because we know there's a lot of different components to this that you're trying to juggle and keep straight. I did see somebody ask, I don't see it on our thing, but just, yes, the app is still under development, right? It's getting really, really, really close. So believe us, we will tell you as soon as it's possible for you to download it and look at all that material. I know lots of you are eager to like get really specific with your schedules and make sure that you have young people who are thinking about what kind of sessions they want to go to and lay all of that out. As soon as we make the app available, we will let you know. Well, it's available, but as soon as it's totally filled in, right?
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
Yeah. And, you know, while this might be our last gathering update live, we're not leaving you hanging on answering your questions. Even if you have questions when you get to the gathering, there are going to be plenty of ways to get those questions answered. First, if you have registration questions, the first thing you're going to do when you get to GRBs, you're going to registration. Just a couple of notes to follow to help out our planning team. If you have the ability to register on Friday, July 8th, please do so. We encourage anyone who can get downtown on their own to register on Friday. Just kind of helps with a little bit of traffic flow, and then you get your wristbands, you're on your way. Your youth can ride the Metro Rail for free if you've signed up for those Metro cards. You can kind of start your gathering experience a little bit early. If you're staying in one of our downtown properties and can't make the Friday registration for whatever reason, we highly recommend that you come on Saturday morning before 1 o'clock. If you are at the Galleria, your shuttles start at 1 p.m. on Saturday, July 9th. So we want to make sure, we don't want everybody to come at one time, because then that means there's long lines, and we only have so many volunteers to help us and so many hours to do registration. So if you're able to come on Friday on your own transportation or your own, somebody can drop you off, please come on Friday. If you're downtown, please come Saturday morning. And all of our Galleria participants, you are free to come on the shuttles beginning at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Juliana, I know there's another thing that you do after registration. What do people do?
So don't just come get your backpacks. Right? So we have an entire team of people who have been working for 2 years, more than that,
Yeah.
to resource specifically adult leaders, right? We love that this is not just young people who are coming to our event, but thousands of youth leaders, and we want to help support you in lots of different ways. So you're going to come down to registration, and yes, you're going to get all the important stuff like your backpacks and your wristbands and your food wristbands and all of that. But we do want to make sure that you go all the way up to the 3rd floor and that you do one of our 2 orientations. Now, if some of you are experienced gathering leaders who have done more gatherings than I have, right, who have been doing this for a long time, then we have a session for you that's about 15 minutes long, and it's going to cover just everything that's very specific to this event, right? So you guys already know kind of the general gist of what's going on at the gathering, but this is going to be one that's just going to quickly give you all of the really important things that you need to know that are specific to what we're doing in Houston and in all things. The other one is going to be 30 minutes long, and it's for first-time leaders, and it's a chance for us to make sure that you have all of the information that you need starting out to make sure that you are doing that. So we want every primary adult leader who's coming to registration to go ahead and go up to orientation and make sure that you are getting all of that really good information right from the start. If you can bring other adult leaders to registration without like totally abandoning your young people, right? Like you can do that too. And those that orientation is going to run the entire time that registration is running. So if depending on what your schedule looks like, certainly you can do that as well. But it's going to have lots of really important information. It is not, so registration is going to be on the 1st floor, orientation is going to be on the 3rd. So you're not going to immediately see it. So make sure you're going all the way up there. And we have lots of other ways that we can support you as well. There's an adult leader rest area, which is awesome, a great place for you to kind of rest. That's right there in the convention center on the 2nd floor. We're going to have adult leader sessions. So speakers who are there to speak just to you about youth ministry and how we can support you as adult leaders and lots of different topics around that, how you can support young people. And we have affinity groups, which are chances for you to sit and have conversations with people who are in similar youth ministry contexts and talk about best practices and things that you're struggling with. So all of that, the sessions, the affinity groups, where you can find the rest area is all going to be on the app. So we do really want you to know that we're supporting you, and we want you to be cared for as well as a part of this event. Now, Meredith, we said we would take some questions. Do we have more questions that you're seeing?
I'm working through all of the answers on the chat. I know
okay.
Mark's in the chat helping us answer some questions.
Yeah. Oh man, see, this is the thing. We have people in the chats who are answering questions so quickly that like, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and we want to make sure folks make sure you're on the Gathering website. I saw a couple of people asking about registration time, and that is uploaded in the Gathering schedule. And it will be on the Gathering app. Once you have that downloaded, you'll be able to see that stuff.
Okay. Somebody just asked again, offsite servant event information should go out early next week. That'll give you that information. I'm still working on some stuff they're figuring out there. Somebody, I just saw a mention of the help desk number. So there is a number that you can call. It's going to be printed on your wristbands. That if you need something, if you have a question and you don't know how to answer it, right? It's the information's on the app or in the guidebook or anything. Yeah, absolutely call that number. They are there to help you. Just a reminder, we have an amazing group of ambassadors. They're going to be dressed in royal blue with yellow flair in particular. Some of our ambassadors, they're fantastic. They're going to be fully trained and be able to help and support you. So look for those people if you have questions. And certainly if they don't know the answers, they know how to get the right answers. They know the right people to be asking for that. And our Gavs are amazing. And they often will know a lot about particular sections of the gathering. Then they'll also be able to help you find the right answers. So we have lots and lots of people who are there just to help you. The crisis group. Yes, there will be. So we talked about this in the podcast, so I don't want to talk about it too long here, but we do have two teams. One is a crisis group that we have that's professional mental health folks who are there to handle crisis should they come up, and are there just to help and support you. We also have a care team that deals with things that are maybe lower intensity, lower time sensitiveness, but are just there to help and kind of help adult leaders talk or navigate or figure out little hiccups along the road. So we have both a care team and a crisis team, and you can access both of them through the helpline. So you don't have to do anything special, just call the helpline, let them know, and I'll activate those teams for you. So if you have more questions about that, go ahead and listen to the podcast. We talk more in detail about what that will look like. Different on-site servant events have different lengths of time. So if you pre-signed up for one, that information should tell you how long it is. When you register for them on-site, we'll be able to tell you kind of, because there's a bunch of different projects. And so like it depends on those kinds of things. And if you're like me, if you're going to give blood, which you certainly can go give blood, make sure that you sign out the release form if you're 16 or 17. But some people give blood in like 10 minutes and some people give blood in like, I don't know. I've clotted once and couldn't even give all the whole pint because like my blood flows so slowly. I don't know, so it kind of depends on all of those things. We love this. What else are we missing, Mayor?
I think we're good. I think we covered a lot.
We did. And I feel like this, and I expected this to go on for hours, but like, really, I feel like you guys have done an amazing job. I have to say, like, our team is so grateful for each and every one of you, right? Like, we know how much effort it takes to get a group to the gathering, the kind of sacrifices that you make, the sacrifices the congregation makes, sacrifices families make in order to make the gathering thing. We please know that we don't take that for granted, right? And it's a gift to us to be able to talk with you, to support you, to help care for young people in our church body. And so if things come up, we want to help you in any way that we can. So please don't hesitate to reach out. You guys are pretty good about that. And I appreciate you guys caring for each other on the Facebook group, right? So many of you, before we can even answer things, are jumping in with answers for one another, supports for one another. It's such a fantastic thing to see the networking between young people, but also between youth leaders, and the ways that you can support each other. And we hope that you do that beyond the gathering, right? That Facebook is there all the time, right? So should you want to come back and ask questions about next year's sermon event, or what you guys are doing in the fall, or resources, those kinds of things, that Facebook's going to be available for you. And those people are going to be there to support you in the middle of that. So we're really grateful for you guys and all the things that you do to make this possible for your young people.
Yes, I cannot believe that it's almost time for us to be together in Houston. It seems surreal. I feel like we just were planning this gathering in January of 2020, thinking of the theme In All Things. Again, to reiterate what Juliana said, we know so many hours have gone into fundraising and meetings and Bible studies and packing and making all these plans. We're just so thankful for you guys for investing in your young people and also the adults in your group. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join Juliana and I over the last year as we walk through the planning process together. Just know that we continue to pray for you and the youth in your congregation as you travel to the gathering in just a few short days. We can't wait to see you guys in person in Houston at the gathering. Come and find us. We'll be around. Thank you guys again for joining us, and we will see you in Houston.